Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Today on The Yum and the Restless, Billy and Sally grow closer. Nick talks Sharon down, and Billy gets a warning text from his mother. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At Society, Billy arrives and tells Sally he's sorry he's late. He had to set Johnny straight on who was the better vampire. Sally's amused. Billy says he brought her something and hands over some fangs. "You have to promise not to bite me." She laughs. "Only if you promise not to bite me first." Sally asks how things went with Adam and Chelsea after she left. He says he took off pretty quickly, though things got a little tense with him and Adam. They decide to change the subject and keep things light and silly. They toast. Sally asks Billy if they should tell dad jokes. He tells her a couple, and they bond over being old movie buffs. Billy realizes they don't really know much about each other. Sally likes the idea of getting to know him better. Billy suggests they share one story about themselves that has nothing to do with anything angst-ridden. Sally does a magic trick. Billy muses that she was raised in a carnival, flipping a coin. Sally tells him he's first, and to make it good. Billy tries to stall and Sally urges, "Tell me your story." Billy says he lost the company yacht in a poker game. It was called Jabot. Sally smirks, but worries this is a gambling story, which isn't light. Billy admits it was tragic when it happened. He's not sure why he thought it was a good idea to tell this story. Sally asks if he can laugh about it now. Billy says he'll tell her, and they'll find out. At the Abbott house, Kyle pulls back from kissing Claire and asks if that's too much. Does she want him to stop? Claire says, "Definitely not." They resume kissing. Upstairs, Kyle asks Claire, "Are you sure you're okay with this?" She's positive. They kiss, start undressing, and move to the bed. Downstairs, Summer lets herself in. She searches around and then spots her phone down the side of the couch. Just then, she notices Claire's purse in the chair. She calls out Kyle. "Claire." Summer walks to the bottom of the stairs and looks up. "Kyle?" She shakes her head. In the bedroom, Claire opens Kyle's shirt, and he lays her down on the bed. They hear Summer calling their names. Summer's about to leave when Kyle comes downstairs with his shirt open and impatiently asks, "What's going on?" Summer notes he was in a better mood earlier. Kyle says it's late. "Why did you come back?" Daniel meets Phyllis on Crimson Light's patio. He tells her he's ready to fight back. She says, "Let's go. What do we have to do first?" Daniel says this isn't really a we thing. They bicker about him, pushing her aside in favor of Christine. Phyllis tells her son she met with the lawyer. She doesn't want her help, so they will have to track down the real murderer. Daniel concedes that he needs his mother's help. He doesn't really have anyone else on his side right now. He just doesn't know how to start looking for Heather's killer. Phyllis says he doesn't have to look far. The guilty party just walked in. They both turn to stare at Sharon. Phyllis says Sharon's so guilty she can't even look at them. Daniel reminds her that there's zero evidence that Sharon did this. Phyllis says, "Yet." They go over the evidence that was planted in his apartment by someone. Phyllis says that someone is standing over there. Daniel thinks whoever did this might still have something that could incriminate them. Phyllis says they may also have a lot of guilt. It's time to confront that person about the horrible thing they did. Phyllis tells Daniel to follow her lead and walks in to ask Sharon how her Halloween was. "Did you see any ghosts?" Sharon tells her if she's trick or treating there's leftover candy on the counter. Phyllis says her actions haven't been downright scary, have they? Sharon's not in the mood for her accusations. Phyllis says, "I know what you did. I have proof." Sharon gulps. "What the hell are you talking about?" Phyllis taunts. "Wouldn't you like to know what we have on you?" Sharon hisses. "You have nothing." Phyllis will let her be surprised when the cops come and arrest her. Sharon says, "You don't have any proof that I did anything." Nick comes in as she continues. "Because I had nothing to do with Heather's death." She doesn't believe that Daniel did either. Phyllis says her son didn't kill Heather. "You did." She can see it written all over her face. She can't wait until the rest of the world can too. She stalks out. Sharon tells Daniel his mother is way off base. She would never wish that kind of pain on anyone. Daniel says his mother is just trying to protect him. Sharon doesn't think she's doing him any favors. If I'm being honest, Phyllis is sounding even crazier now that she usually does. Daniel doesn't know what to believe, but he knows he didn't kill Heather. That means that someone else did. Sharon watches with widened eyes as he walks out. Nick emerges and asks, "What was that about?" Sharon says it was just Phyllis being Phyllis. Nick asks if she confronted her about Heather's murder. Sharon says yes, but she understands she has to convince herself that Daniel's not capable of committing this crime. She alludes to Phyllis claiming to have proof, and then asks if Nick believes the redhead. Does he think she killed Heather? At the Abbott mansion, Kyle tells Summer she should have called. She couldn't because she was halfway home when she realized she'd left her phone. Kyle tells her she shouldn't have called up the stairs. She might have woken up Harrison. Summer noticed Claire's purse and wondered if she was still there because Harrison was sick from eating too much candy. Kyle says the kid is fine. Summer's glad she didn't wake him. She asks where exactly Claire is. Kyle says good night. She smirks. Sorry for interrupting your night. After she leaves, Claire comes downstairs and says, maybe I should go too. At Society, Billy finishes telling his story about losing Jabot. Sally tells him it's a great story as they laugh. Billy admits it still hurts. He says it's her turn to tell a silly story. Make me laugh, girl. At the club, Phyllis asks if Daniel sees what she means about Sharon. She complains about the blonde playing the victim when they throw the truth in her face. Daniel asks if she really has proof. Phyllis says no, but Sharon doesn't know that. If you put enough pressure on a nut, it's bound to crack. At the Abbott mansion, Claire dons her coat as Kyle tells her Summer forgot her phone. She saw her purse in the chair. Claire grits. Sorry about that. Kyle says she thought she was still there because something was going on with Harrison. He told her everything was fine. Claire, please don't go. She doesn't want to, but she thinks she should. What we did was nice. Kyle agrees. It was. They kiss. At Society, Sally tells Billy about a brawl she was involved in with Steffi Forrester. She explains that her great-aunt and her grandmother had a long-standing feud, and she was also trying to impress a guy. Billy looks it up on his phone and finds the viral video. He thinks her story is better than his, more solidly silly. They decide to call it a draw. At Crimson Lights, Nick tells Sharon he doesn't think she did it. He feels what Phyllis is doing to her is not fair, and he told her so. Sharon doesn't think she'll let up. She's terrified for Daniel and despises her. She doesn't want these accusations getting back to Maria or Faith. She has an idea how to get her to back off. Nick thinks he can talk some sense into her. It's best if Sharon doesn't engage with her. Sharon has to do something. Nick wants to know what she has planned. Sharon may have to get a restraining order. She's out of control, and she has to protect herself from her. At the club, Phyllis tells Daniel she'll follow Sharon around and will be relentless. Daniel isn't convinced she's right about Sharon. Phyllis plans to get her to admit what she did. She'll bombard her until she exposes herself. Daniel's not sure this is the way to go. She'll end up behind bars. Phyllis says Sharon has messed with her family. I'm going to set a trap for her and make her pay. At the Abbott house, Claire and Kyle finish their kiss. He says she'll see him in the morning when she comes to take Harrison to school. Kyle won't leave for work until she gets there. Claire tells him she wants this, but Summer's interruption made it feel like it wasn't the right moment. Kyle tells her to take as much time as she needs. Billy walks Sally to her suite door. He wonders if they'll ever be able to tell silly stories about Adam and Chelsea. Sally says maybe at some point. Tonight was a good start. She pops in the fangs and makes him laugh. Does he have to worry about her biting him? Sally says maybe. He has a nice neck. Billy wonders if he should come in for a nightcap. Sally says not yet. She does like being with him. Billy quips. That makes two. Of a kind. He pulls a coin out from behind her ear. She laughs and says goodnight. After she closes her door, Billy reads a text from Jill asking him to call her in the morning. She hopes he's straightened things out at Chancellor because he's running out of time. At Sharon's place, Nick tries to talk Sharon out of antagonizing Phyllis further. She's only doing this to protect her son. Sharon has to protect herself. She's been healing and can't let Phyllis undermine that. Nick tells her if she gets the restraining order, it will make her look guilty. Sharon gulps. But I'm not. Nick asks her to let him try to get Phyllis to calm down. If it doesn't work, they'll take the next step. Sharon gushes. You're always here for me, Nick. No matter what. Nick assures her nothing will change that. Sharon hugs him. Summer joins Daniel and Phyllis at the club. Daniel says their mother is just revealing her plan to get Sharon to confess to killing Heather. Phyllis plans to make her think she has proof. Daniel isn't convinced Sharon is guilty and doesn't want to be the one to push her over the edge if she's innocent. Phyllis asks Summer to back her up. Summer thinks it seems a bit much. Phyllis insists she's doing the right thing. When she looked into her googly eyes, she was 100% certain she did this. Summer realizes she's already confronted Sharon. Daniel says it did no good. Phyllis argues it laid the groundwork. She's not going to stop until she admits guilt. Daniel tells his mother, "Listen, I don't want you to think for a minute that I don't appreciate your commitment to getting justice for Heather. But whether Sharon's innocent or not, that is going to happen.